Good morning. This video is a preliminary presentation of the 2022 operating budget for First Baptist Church presented to you by your Stewardship Committee. For those who may not know who I am Bruce Hamrick, the chairman of your Stewardship Committee. Other committee members include Debbie Boland, Mark Brooks, Vicki Hames, Mary Kane, Connie Schrader, and our treasurer, Carl Rosberg. The budget will be voted on at the next business meeting, which will be held on December 8th at 6 p.m. in the Fellowship Hall. The meeting will be a hybrid meeting, meaning that for those who feel comfortable meeting in person, you may do so, and for those who do not feel comfortable, you may attend by Zoom. If attending by Zoom, please call the church office for the link. Before I get into the 2022 budget, I'm going to go through a little recap of items that were happening in 2021. You may remember that on January the 1st of 2021, we did issue a salary increase for all employees that were on roll at that time. For the 7 years from 2015 to 2021, the annual receipts range anywhere from $591,000 as a high or to a high of $680,000. The past 2 years being on the low end of that spectrum. 2020 congressional receipts were $620,000, down significantly compared to 2019 of $680,000. And receipts for 2021 are estimated to total only $591,000. Stewardship feels that this 2-year decrease was primarily due to the COVID-19 shutdown, coupled with a reduction in our membership. Our 2021 receipts for the first half of the year was down 8.2%. In the third quarter, we did a little better, being only down 2.4%. We are projecting that the fourth quarter will be roughly about the same as the fourth quarter of 2020. So when we add that up, we come in at about $591,000 worth of receipts by the end of 2021. Here is a comparison, a numeric comparison of the numbers that range from 2019 all the way to our budget proposal for 2022. The main thing that you need to look at here is if you look at the asterisk on 2020, it looks like we had a lot of receipts there, but $54,000, almost $55,000 of that was a rebate from the Paycheck Protection Program that the government offered us for keeping our people employed. As you can see, when you take that out, we're looking at congregational receipts somewhere in the neighborhood of $620,000. Then in 2021, as I said before, our estimate, we expect to come in at about $591,000. We are expecting our expenses to come in about $581,000. So hopefully by the end of the year, we will have a surplus this year of about $10,000. But if you go forward to the 2022 budget proposal, you'll see that we've only raised the receipts by about $4,000, but the expenses are going to be much higher than that. So we are expecting right now to show a deficit for 2022 in excess of $31,000. Moving on into the 2022 budget, one of the things that we want to continue our focus on is missions. Missions have been budgeted at a little bit better than $63,000 for next year, which is down 7.4%. However, we will have approximately $137,000 in reserve accounts and earnings coming from the Virginia Baptist Foundation to use for missions for 2022. Also, our Personnel Committee is going to be requesting about a $3,000 salary bonus to be paid for the end of this year versus any kind of salary increase for 2022. Our budgeted salaries and benefits at about $371,000 are forecast to be only about $2,500 above what we will be paying in 2021. The good news for next year, though, is that our medical insurance premiums are projected to decrease by almost $21,000. That's a significant decrease from 2021, and the reason for that is we will have 3 support staff members who will be going on Medicare during some part of the year in 2022. And when you add all of this up, our salaries and benefits will still be forecast to be at about 61% of our budget. We are going to be fully budgeted for our staff in 2022. The income that we are expecting, which is $595,000 for 2022, is only raised slightly, as I said, compared to 2021. We fully understand that until this COVID-19 pandemic is behind us and we are able to fully worship as we did pre-pandemic, that it will be difficult to raise receipts significantly. However, stewardship does encourage each of you to remain faithful to your tithes and offerings so that First Baptist Church continues to be a focal point of your worship and your inspiration. A couple of things that I do want to for you to pay attention to. This year, we are doing something a little bit different with our pledge cards. Last year, in the past years, we have done a mass mailing of pledge cards to the congregation, but we're going to do something a little bit different this year. Pledge cards so far have been with your bulletin if you have been attending in person for the last 2 Sundays, and they will continue to be with the bulletin for the remainder of this year. If you would like to, you can also do your pledging online at the church website. When you do this and you hit the completed button or the submitted button, then that information will go directly to our financial secretary, and she will be the only one that will be able to see that information. Pledge cards have already been mailed to those folks who get a mailing, a hard copy mailing of the soundings. And finally, if all else fails and you want a pledge card, please call the church office and they will mail you one. And finally, copies of this budget, detailed copies of this budget, will be present following this presentation in the fellowship hall and in both hallways leading into the main sanctuary. Copies may also be obtained by calling the church office and requesting a copy be mailed to you. Be sure to get a copy of the budget well ahead of the business meetings on December the 8th, and be prepared to ask your questions at that meeting. Finally, the Stewardship Committee has decided to have one more wrinkle in the budget for this year. Once the year is over, once 2021 is over, and the receipts and the expenses are final, we will be coming back to the church in the February business meeting asking for a final approval of a revised budget. Thank you for your attention to this video, and I hope to see you on December the 8th at the meeting at the Fellowship Hall.